Hinei Rosh Hashanah hu binyan olam hadibur. So on Rosh Hashanah is when the world of Dibur, the world of Malchus, gets built. We're talking about the Tzedakah Tikononi is the binyan HaMalchus, and that is on Rosh Hashanah. V'ayin v'rabes kisiso parsha memvov v'soy parshas ekev al posik v'eis kenois avorim. V'u b'chinas boi noyich, and that's the level of boi noyich. Atikra boi noyich elo boi noyich. Boi noyich is the binyan HaMalchus. As we say, that the chokhmah yivne bayis v'yivne satzela. When there was Adam Rishon born, Adam Rishon was born on Rosh Hashanah. So that's Vayiven, that's the level of building. That's the building, the Olam Hadibur. Building the Tzela, that's the level of Malchus. And it's the Chokhmah, the Yivne Bayis. V'gam Pirush Yira Sholem. And also, because we said that it's the time of building of David in Yerushalayim. We say the David Hashem Oiri. It says David in Yerushalayim, which is the idea of Malchus, as Yerushalayim, that's where the kingdom, and it's Yira Sholem. What's the word? V'sholem hine Yira? Yira. Okay, so Yira Sholem. So Yerushalayim, the Gemara says, is Yira Sholem. Shlem is Yira. And also V'sholem. So Yerushalayim is the wholesome of Yira, and it's also the city of peace, Loshen Sholem. So in a Yira, so you have the two, you have the level of Yira, and you have the level of Sholem. So Yira is Bechinas Rosh Hashanah. That's Rosh Hashanah. That's the level of Yira. V'ayin zoyer cheli gimel truma, kuf lamed hey aleph al posik v'zois ha-truma chulu. He says, Zohov b'rozo de yoma de Rosh Hashanah. That gold is the secret of Rosh Hashanah, because mitzofen Zohov yoso, gold comes from the north, and the Yira of Ubechinas Yira canal, that's the level of Yira. And then you have the level of Sholem. The Sholem is Ubechinas Yom Kippurim. Why is Yom Kippur the level of Sholem? So Yira, that's the level of Rosh Hashanah. Sholem is the level of Yom Kippur. Why is Yom Kippur? Shazai mismalin kol hapagomim. Because all the blemishes are filled on Yom Kippur when we're forgiven. So all the lackings, all the blemishes are filled. Al yidei ha'amshochel yoino mimkoira dekoilo. By the supreme amshocha from the source of everything that fills all the gaps, all the holes, all the blemishes. Anthu shlemusa dekulam. You are the wholesome, or you're also mashlim everything. So shlemusa dekula is mashlim everything. So that's wondering, why is it shalom? Because before it had a blemish. Comes Yom Kippur, it gets fixed. So that's why it's the level of shalom. And there's also another reason why Yom Kippur is shalom, because it says shalom la rochek shenase korev, because you're agreeing shalom shalom la rochek la korev is la rochek shenase korev. That means you're greeting the rochek on Yom Kippur, which is the level of tshuva. That's the level of tshuva. The rochek has become korev. V'chein milmaylu lamato Amr Razal. Apostle Kra'u the Yosef Korev. So to call Hashem Yosef Korev, Elu Aseres Yemei Tshuva. So that means that there is the Tshuva, is the time when the Eibishter is Korev. So that means also that's all the level of Shalom, bringing together. Milamayla Lamata, that from Hashem, the Aseres Yemei Tshuva, Hashem is Korev to us, and we become Korev to Him. This is all the level of Shalom, bringing things together. So from this also comes the level of Sukkos, and Sukkos is also called Shalom. Shenikra Sukkas Shlemecha. That's why on Sukkos we give the 70 Parim. Shal Derech Bechinas V'Rav Shalom. So we learned before, the Pshat is that making from the Rav, making him also, bringing him in, Shalom Rav Lo'ev Yisrael, Mamshich, making turning the Rav, and making the Shalom. Ba'ayim Baramas Parshas Pinchas, Gabe Lihishtachavois LaHashem B'Chag HaSukkos. So that's another Mamer the discussion, which is also of the Shalom. The Gam Marbe must be tzedakah. Sukkos give a lot of tzedakah. So tzedakah is also the Shalom, brings peace. I'm a shakos di Ramaskal something kat koid. The same di Ramaskal tzien chulu b'tzedakah, shuvel b'tzedakah. B'hainu kidei liyos b'tzedakah koinoni. So that we need to be prepared with tzedakah. So you have Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and Sukkot. The idea of Yira and the idea of Shalom. So we have it the three levels. Klolus, Gimel, Bechinas, Eilu. Generally, these three levels of Bonoich, that's the level of Chochmah. Boinoich, building, that's the level of Bina. Actually, he says Keser Chochmah Bina. And Tzedakah is Mitzvah, which is Keser, which is surrounding. So again, you have the Bonoich, that's like the level of Chochmah, the level of Torah. Then you have the level of Boinoich, the level of Bina, which is the level of davening. And then you have the level of mitzvahs, which is level of keser. So these three levels, and gimel b'chinas keser, chochma bina, kisidron milmato lamaylo, as they are of keser chochma bina that goes from the top to the bottom, but the level of bonoich, boinoich, and bitzdaka are the order the way they are mat lamaylo. So bonoich bina, which is ben yudke. The word bina equals ben yudke. Your son, buhu eisek hatoila hatfila. So bonoich, I mean, I said before if I can, but so bonoich is the level of bina, eisek hatfila. Boinoich is the chochmas eisek hatoila. That's the level of chochma der pnimi, ve'hem b'chinas der pnimi, and that's the level of pnimi. Ba'achar kach bitzdaka tikoinoni, and then later on you come to the level of bitzdaka tikoinoni. B'chinas keser. Kitar mitzvahs der Reise, im Zayim mitzvahs der Rabbonon. Why is the tzedakah keser? Because when you talk about mitzvahs, so there's 630 mitzvahs with the 7 mitzvahs Rabbanon is Tofresh Chof, it's 620. It's keser. Amudei Oir, Shem B'chinas keser. Who Oir Makif? That's the level of an Oir Makif. Meloshin Koiseres, a lotion that it circles. Noida. The klolus ha-mitzvahs nikra tzedakah. When you say mitzvahs in general, that's the mitzvah of tzedakah. V'ayim mashikosu v'divra maschil, koisu baruchu, v'inyan gimel habroches, yivarechecho yoir yisa. V'hem gamkin, ki inyan gimel b'chinas elu, banoich and b'tzedakah, v'kesach chochma bina. V'ayim b'haramaz, Parsha Shlach Dafkuf Nuntes Omadalev Gabe Vayivra Lekim as Odom B'Tzalmei, created man in the image. So it says Tlas Inun Olmin Isle Lekucha Brichu the Ihu Gonis Begavayu. There are three worlds to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that he is hidden in them. Shehem Gamkein Shloishu B'Chinas. These are the three levels of Kesach Chochma Bina. Banoich and Tzedakah. So connect them Nemar, and corresponding to them it says Kodesh Uinsham, as explained the Mamer over there. Alpizeh Efshel Lahavin Hamoshul Haniskil Berabis B'Shir Hashirim is going to explain in the Medrash Rabbin Shiras Shiz in Seif Parsha Nagila and Nismachaba. There he gives different Pirushim in the pasuk Nogila v'nismech haba. So then he gives the mashul of the matruna. So the way the Medrash brings down over there that the husband of the king is going to explain the whole Medrash now. It says there that the king, the queen was left alone at home. Her husband, the king, and her son, and her daughter-in-laws and her son-in-laws, they all went overseas. So when they came back and they told her, "Oh, your sons have come back," she says, "What do I care? Let my daughter-in-laws be happy that their husbands are back. It doesn't matter to me." Once her daughter-in-laws comes back, so they told her, your son-in-laws came back. They told her your son-in-laws came back. She says, "I don't care. Let my daughters be happy." So then when they told her, "Oh, your husband came back," then she said, "This is my whole joy." And Marshall says, like Losid Lovey, the Nevi'im will come and say, "Oh, your children have come from a distance." And the Yerushalayim will say, "Well, I don't really care." Then they say that your daughters outside the Amana, she doesn't care. When it says Hine Malkich Yovei, that your king will come, the Abish will come, Tzadik Teshoy, Amra Hachad Vasar Shleima, this is Medrash. So basically he's going to explain this Medrash, how the various different, the sons, the daughter, the son-in-laws, those are different levels of Hamshachas, different levels. And then the only Simcha is with the Melech himself. But Inyan, the Pasuk says, Kishoshana, Bein HaChoichim Kein Rayosi Bein HaBonis. Just like the Shoshana, the rose amongst the thorns, so is Rayosi, my beloved, Bein HaBonis amongst the daughters. Pirush. Shaneshomes Nikru B'nai Yerushalayim Oy B'nai Tzir. The Bonis, what is the Bonis? The Bonis are, Rayosi is my spouse. That's Rayosi. That's not vows. The Shomes, there's nothing, Rayosi Ben Abonis, that's meaning that's so much more important. It's like the Shoshana Ben Achoichim. The Shomes are called B'nai Yerushalayim and B'nai Tzir. B'divra Maschil Shcheir Ani V'nova B'nai Yerushalayim. So over there you have them either B'nai Yerushalayim or B'nai Tzir, and they're all the level of daughters. Rayosi Ukneses Yisrael. Rayosi, this is the level of the Knesset Yisrael. Mekoira Neshama is the source of the Neshamas. So basically, Rayosi is so much more And that's where the real simcha is. To explain this, ki yodua sheyesh gimul aves, there are three levels of aves. B'chol levavcho, b'chol nafshecho, b'chol meidecho. Ukmashakos u'biyurin yonom b'divra maschil so tzmele tachas l'roishi and kisises roish b'nei Yisrael b'mashmam kisi. What's the level of b'chol levavcho nafshecho v'hainu b'chinas b'chol levavcho u'b'chinas kolo she'eri u'levavi. That's the level of my body and my heart is yearning, is expiring. Or as the other pasuk says, that my soul expires and yearns for the chatzis Hashem. That's what she says. Go tell my daughter-in-laws, go tell my kaloisai that the sons comes back. Kaloisai without shame. Chinas kalo. That is kaloisai. Why is she called kalo? Because al shem chinas kalo kol sonafshi. That's my is what I mishkosu mizeh v'divra amaschil ve'irastichli. So that's the level of tzimoy and the level of nichso. Madregas b'chol nafshecho. The level of b'chol nafshecho. That is b'chinas elich or nafshi esom. To the level of I carry my soul to you. Begami's kashrus koichas hanefesh, and also the tying of the powers of the soul, haseichel midas, machshava dibro ma'isa b'toiro mitzvahs, that is connecting to Hashem in the powers of the soul, which is the intellect and the emotion. And the levushim of thought, speech, and action, b'toiro mitzvahs, by studying Torah and doing the mitzvahs, ube'iyun tefillah, and by davening with kavanah. So this shu is kashrus b'chochmosei v'ritzoyni yisborach. That is a tying and connection with Hashem's wisdom and will. That's the level of b'chol nafshecha. Not only to yearn to Hashem, but actually to connect to Hashem. Yearning for Hashem, v'b'chinas al yoyzna yoyser v'b'chinas l'chatzeris Hashem. Before we say that kolo she'eri u'navlen l'vavi kalso nafshi l'chatzeris Hashem, that's only the courtyard of Hashem, meaning the courtyard is not the house, that's outside of the house. That level of b'chol levavcha is only lechatzris to the courtyard of Hashem. But b'chol nafshecha, that is to connect in Hashem in a way in a bayis. So Torah is considered the supreme room of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's b'chinas Beis Hamalchus. That's the house where the king of the home, which means Shamelech Dorba B'Kvis. The king is always there in the house. I know. That is the resting of the Ein Sof Chochmah law, which is Mashalamaylo Mibchinas Chatzris Abaya, that is higher than the level of the courtyards of Hashem. Shamelech Nisan Hashem Liprokim Levad. Over there, the king enters only a while, comes into the chutzner, but he's always in the house. That's the level of Chochmah. That's where the manifestation of the presence of Hashem. Ki inyan Reichev al Kruv Kal Shaloi, rides on his light chariot, V'shot B'chai Alfim Omes, and he floats, he hovers on 18,000 worlds. That's going out to the world. That's the low level. But when we talk about the level of B'chol Meidacha, what is the level of B'chol Meidacha? B'chinas Mesiras Nefesh Usa the Libo Shalamayla Masechel. That's a level of Mesiras Nefesh and Ratzon Lev, which is higher than Sechel. Shazeh Omru Yesh Koine Elome B'Sho Achas. Over here, you can buy your world in one. It's not a seder. It's not an orderly way, which things progress from one level to the other. But you can buy your whole world in one time. That's beyond. That's a level of Mesiras Nefesh, a level beyond the Chochmah, level of Rosh, level of Kesser. So now, that's what we said before, quoted the pasuk. Kein rayosi bein habonis. So is rayosi. Rayosi means that's the level of the wife of his beloved amongst the bonus. That's a much higher level. The pasuk says Yofa at kitirza. Loshen kitirza is loshen rotzu. So this is higher than Chochmah, this level of Kesed, level of Kindas Rotzu and Elyon Shalmayim Chochmah. That's the level of Rotzu, which is higher than Chochmah. Azeh Omar, Azeh Omru, and those Chacham said, Leizos Mechabeva, we find the different Lashonis, the way Hashem refers to Knesset Israel. So he says, he did not stop from holding a Diacha Kora Imi, he calls her Imi, my mother, as the Pasuk says, the crown that his mother crowned him. This is Shlomo HaMelech. The supreme level of Shekhinah. So basically, you move up the ladders. You have the level of Bonai and Kaloisai and Benoisai, but you come to the level of Rayosi. Kaloisai, that's B'chol V'avucha. Benoisai, that's the level of Bina, but that's the level of connection through Torah, mitzvahs, and tefillah. Then you have the level of Rayosi, which is the level of Ratzah, which is higher than that. Zau inyan hamoshul lematruno v'kaloisai ubenoisai. It says we have the queen and her daughter-in-laws and her daughters. He said, let them be happy. When they said, Bo Banaich, he says, your sons have come. What does that mean? Bo Banaich, that's the level, Hainu, Chinas Yeridas Vanashom, because Neshom is the Atzilus. That's the descent and the coming down of the Neshomas of Atzilus, which is the level of Chol Banaich Lemuda Hashem. Those who study Lemuda Hashem, Sheshoirish Giluzeh, Imebchinas Bin Lida Atzilus. The root of this revelation is Bina. So her answer was, Tismachno Kaloisai. Then my daughter-in-laws, and the beginning Haneshama is the Biyah. So then that makes happy the Kaloisai. Those are the Neshamas of Biyah. Their level of love is in a way they yearning to Hashem. Okay, and therefore, Tismachno v'tisravet tzimoyno b'gilu zeh shem b'chinas b'chol b'noich. They will be happy and their thirst will be quenched with the level of B'chol B'naich. Asher bino nikras chotzer hapnimis hapoyne kodim. In the Novi over there, it says that he would come into the chotzer hapnimis hapoyne kodim, goes forward. That's the level of bina. Then they say to Bo Chasonecho, your son-in-law's came. So l'cheira, it would seem, what is it saying? Your son-in-laws, we already said, he told her that her sons came and that wasn't good enough. So why are they saying to her, your daughter, your son-in-laws came? So what is he adding over here? What is he adding that his son-in-laws, if she wasn't happy with her sons coming, for sure she's not going to be happy with his son-in-laws. But over here, the Chasoncha, this is the masters of Torah. That is Bechinas Boinoich. Those are the builders, level of Chochmah. Inyan b'yoyim chasunosoi, the Matan Torah. This is like the idea. The marriage is Matan Torah. Your son-in-law, that's the level of Torah. That's not been now. It's a Re'eh Chochmah. Atzilus b'chlal. That's generally not Atzilus. Ulamaila ma'bina shubchinas mokar abriya. This is higher than Bina, which is Mokar Debriya, which is the level of Chol of Avcha, the Loshen Kala, Loshen yearning. Gam Chochma, he Chol Elo the Kutchabrichu, Shalamayla Gam Chotzer Canal. And when we talk about Chochma, that's the supreme room of Kutchabrichu, which is higher than the Chotzer. Chotzer Apanim is only the courtyard. That's not a connection with the Eibishter, but the Eibishter, they connect the Havai B'Chochma, the Eibishter connects Tafki in the level in a way that his daughter there fully, that's in the level of Chochma. But yet, so basically the Chasoncha, that is one of the things that doesn't make sense when you learn the Medrash. You don't understand why the son-in-laws comes after the sons. And it seems, but now we understand, because according to the inner Taich, the sons represent the level of Bina, and the Chasoncha, because Loshen Chasnas represents the level of Chochmah. And yet, what did she say? To Samcha B'noisai. That's going to bring joy to B'noisai Hainu, Nefesh da Atzilus, the souls of Atzilus, Kiniskar B'divra Maschil, Kiseitze B'inyan, Yovin Le'Brat the Malka, they given this, the daughter of the king. Azah Omru Loizos Mechabevat Shekorabiti. That there is greater love that she calls her Biti. The Hinei. So that's a great love, but that's the level of Babit. The Hinei Abba Yosad Barato. So basically, Chochmah is the foundation of the daughter, which means Malchus. Balkain, therefore, Tisamechna Begilu Zeh, Shebechinus Chochmah Nimshachal Dea Torah. That's why they are rejoicing with this level of Chochmah will come through the level of Torah. Aval Bechinas Sien, Aval Bechinas Sien, Atzma, but the level of Sien itself, he Bechinas Shchintei Lo, the level of Shchintei Lo, Loizos Mechabeva, Achikora Imi. Over there, it's the mother, which means that's the Rayosi. Achaz hi Yanosi, that this is one is my Yanosi. Who Ru'uso the Liba B'chol Moedacho. That is the Rotzen Halev with all your heart. This is Bechina Yechida. That's the level of Yechida of the soul, Hamakabelas, the Bechinas Yochid, which gets from the level of Yochid. Shalamaylam, Bechinas, which is higher level of Bonoich. Ukeniskar, the Mokem Achar, as mentioned elsewhere, being a Chasidim or Rishonim, Shoyishoyim, Bitvilosom, Tisha Shos, B'yem Chulu, Ayin Shom. Ayin Zerchel Beis, Reish Pashim Bishpotim, Tzadik Dalit, Amid Beis, and Kufcha Beis, Amid Dalit. ולכן לא נסרבה צימוינו בגילוי זה של הנשומס שם בבחינס חוכמה. And that's why her thirst was not quenched with the level of the Neshama B'chinas Chochmah, from the level of Boinoyich, which goes to Mokom Achab Divrei Masmayim Rabim. Shalzen Emar Im Yiten Ish Zakodesh Baruch Hu Kol Beisi Ba'ava. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu to give a Kol Haim Beis, this is the greater, the Kol Haim Beis, the level of love. That's the level of Chochmah law. Shanikra Haim Beis, that's the treasure of his home. So you say, Bois Yovezuloi. Still, they're gonna say this is nothing. Even the level of Chochmah law next to the level of the Ratzin Halev, of the Atzma, next to the level. So even the level of B'chol Nafshecha is considered nothing next to the level of B'chol Meidecha. That is to the essence of Hashem. שגם החוכמה עצמו ככסיר נחשבת לגבי ניסו ברוך הוא ממש. That also the level of Chochmah itself is considered just like a simple asiyah, a thing of action relative to the Ein Sof. ושגם שבחינת ביום חסנוסי זה מתן תורה. So although we say that Yom Chasanosei, the day of the marriage, is Matan Torah, so how could we say that it's not the highest level? Say there's a higher level. So he says, that the Torah is only noivlos, the leftover Chochmah of Shemailas Torah. The only way you're satisfied is Elo al Yidei Hine Malkich Yoveloch Tzadik V'Noisha Loch V'Noisha Tzadik V'Noisha. It's just the king himself. No Chochmah, no lower levels, but the king itself, Rayosi. So Tzaddik v'Nivosheya. Ubchinas at the same level of Haloi Tov Anoichi Tov Loch. I am better to you, meaning Hashem Himself. V'Asor Rabbanim. So that means that's a much higher level, the level from Rayosi, level of Hashem Himself. Amshocha Ubchinas Anoichi, Misha Anoichi. Hashem Himself, we don't even know whoever I am. Anoichi Misha Anoichi. The Hainu, Hamshocha, Me'er, Hamsof, Baruch Hu Mamish, Shelamaylo, Maylo, Mebchinas Atzilus, which is higher and higher than Atzilus. Liyos, Dira, B'tachtoinim, to be a dwelling with B'tachtoinim, Shelamaylo, Maylo, Mebchinas Anishamas. This is much higher than levels of Neshamas. Kihu Gilu Ein Sof Mamash. Ein Sof Mamash. That is a revelation of the Ein Sof Mamash. Ein L'Neshamas Erech Elav Klal. They don't have any comparison at all. Hainu Aida Keser Elyon, which is Malchus Leim Sof. Hamachaber Gilu Ein Sof Baruch Mamash Elah Netzor. So basically, this is in the one word. Basically, the Alter Rebbe used to say he doesn't want you Gan Eden, he wants Hashem Himself. So basically, all these Geluyim, the Rayosi, what she sees is not satisfied with the Bonim. Bonim is only Biyah can be happy with, and then Atzilus can be happy. Abba Yosef Brata doesn't the level of Chochmah. But to come down, Dira B'Tachteinu Lamato, that is Davke through Hashem. That's Davke the Beis. It's not the Ava of Chochmah is not sufficient. And it's Noivus Chochmah. So Therefore, the real Chokhmah, the source of everything is the Ein Sof, and that is what brings about that Hamshocha and connects in Lamato with the highest level. Then Namar, this is the pasuk says, "Haloi anoichi tov lach masora banim." Kono said to Chana, "I'm better to you than 10 sons." Anoichi, when you connect with Hashem, that's better than the 10 sons. What is the meaning? Pirush. Anoichi misha anoichi. Talking about anoichi, whoever I am, which is steam or the whole steam in. Is hidden, of all hidden. This is better to you than the Amshocha that comes from Chochma Bina al Yidei Bonoich Ubonoich. They're Chochma Bina. Anoichi, Mishanoichi is much higher. Koshikosu, Bipsikta, Aposik, Aloy Anoichi Toivloch. So he says over there, Ani Enksivkan, Elo Anoichi. So he says clearly, it doesn't say I, better it says Anoichi. Commando ad Omar, Jak we say Anoichi Hashem Elokecha. So this is Anoichi, Anoichi Mish Anoichi. Ad kan Hashem. V'cheinu b'shocher toi b'shmul se perek aleph u'b'yalka. V'ayim ha'shekosu v'divra maschil toi b'achsit v'avayim v'toi v'mod. Hinei Gilui Zeh, Hashiva, when he told her about this Gilui, that the king himself is coming, so she answered, Hashiva, oh, Chedvus Shlema. Oh, this is a complete joy. Which means, why is it a complete joy? Because it's going to be, the king himself is going to go b'tachtonim. So this is what the pasuk says, Sois Osis. Joyce, I will rejoice by Hashem. V'togel nafshi chulu ayinshem. So, al yidei b'tzedakah tekenoni. This comes through the level, not the level of bonoich, not the level of bonoich, but the level of tzedakah tekenoni. So, al yidei zeh nimshach. Through this, we bring down b'chinas tzadik v'nevasheya, the level of tzadik v'nevasheya. V'ayim ha'shekosuf. Save the Ramaschil, my Rab Manal, over the Ramaschil, in the Menore Zov, in Zeh, Eichsha Mitzvahs B'Shorshom, Hem L'maylu Ma'atero, that we get the higher, because here we're saying it's level of Keser. And that's Tafka with the connection is in this world. That will be the real happiness. Because we have mitzvahs and we have the Eibishter himself. The Ayin, the Inyan Tzadik v'Nosheya b'Rabbeis b'Mishpotim Sei Parsha Lamed. The Ayin Mashkozer Masaf Chovei b'Kisle b'Inyan v'Yilbash Tzedakah Kisiryen. Save the Ramaschil v'Yilvash Tzedakah. So, this is the meaning. Kitapuach atzehayar kein doidi bein habon. As the apple amongst the trees of the forest, so is my doidi amongst the sons. Meaning, how special. Is like the apple in a forest where there's no trees. Pirush ki inyan achalti yorim davshi. So he's saying, I ate the forest with the honey. So b'chinas yori, the level of the forest, so inyan yetzer oir. That's the idea of yetzer oir. Sheshom bevur. So there it talks about, that's it talks about how everybody's Tabrum Olam. That's the forest, the Davshi. What is the honey? Ukrishma. That is the Kriya Shema. Shema Yisrael. That's the honey. Ka'ava v'yira shel neshamas Yisrael nikra dafshi. The fear and love of neshamas Yisrael, the Shema, that's called the honey. Shubchinas pnimis. It's an inner. V'yesh b'mesikis is sweetness there. By mashkos mizeh b'dir maskil b'os lagani. B'dir maskil ani yisheno. Gaber ayosi. By mashkos b'dir maskil kenesha yorkinei. The Inyan Aliyas Hamalochim talks of Locha the Nishamas Yisrael the Ishta'ova Begufa the Malka to be drawn into the Gufa the Malka. So the talk of references to Mamer. So Inyan Kitapuach Ba'atse Hayar. So that level of, so the yar is Yetzer Oil. The tapuach is what is Shema Yisrael. So when you get tapuach b'atzah yar, that's the idea of Kriya Shema. That's the meaning of Abav Yira. That's the honey. Another pirush v'gam ki tapuach yesh by klas gabna. Tapuach has 3 colors. Shehem gimel midas Abav Yira v'racham. Love and fear and achos. Shebemchinas gimel avis from the forefathers. V'gam kein gimel kavim Torah Aveda u'gimel chasodim. So that's another reason why the tapuach represents the level of Kriya Shema Ava V'yira. U'pirush ba'atzah yar. So it means ba'atzah yar shal yidei zeh. This can now. That also brings a correction level of yar, which meant that commotion is the yar, they make it from the forest, they make it into an ir, which is bar l'mayla be'inyan shema shem ayin before. In a Moshe tapuach gova malosim ma'atzi hayar. The apple is greater, its advantage on the trees of the forest. The Roshum and Nikrobem, and he is marked, can tell the tree. Kinisa, Tapuach, Gematria Tzvokis. Tapuach is 494. And saving Gematria Tzvokis. One second. 480 and 92. And Tzvokis is also 492. I don't know what Tzvokis without the Aleph of there to figure it out. Well, Inyan Shamalochim Emrim Kodesh Hashem Tzvokis. And he says that Oisu B'Tzofa Shaloi. Tzvokoi stands for, the Gemara says, Oisu Tzova Ois. Oisu B'Tzofa Shaloi. One letter of Hashem, that is Mechayi the ganze Tzova. V'hainu, Hamshochas v'Izgalus Ha'orus Atzilus V'Biyah. That is bringing down and revelation the shine of Atzilus V'Biyah She'otzu Ma'id. It's very powerful, the armies of Yah. So when you bring down the ois, you bring down the tapuach, that's the level, and you bring it down into the tzvokis, into all of the armies of Yah. That is the idea of tapuach batzayar. The impact of the tapuach and the atzeh hayar fixes the atzeh hayar is mamshich the ois into the tzvos. So k'maykein v'yeser mikein lein ketz u'b'chinas doidi bein habon is the level of doidi bein habon. What does that mean? Pirush habonim Hainu b'chinas boinoich. The bonim, that's the level of boinoich we were discussing the whole time. B'chinas boinoich. Uboinoich. There's both bonoich and bonoich. Shehu hamshocha mechocham bin atzilus. That is mechocham bin atzilus. Avo b'chinas doidi, but love of doidi, hamshocha shelamaylo maylo meseder ishtalshlus. That comes from the higher than ishtalshlus. Meshekosuf koil doidi is in his ebo, medalig al haaretz al haarim mekapetz. It jumps over the hainu hadiluk. That is the jump in Milo Meseder Shtalshness. Which call us in his barley, he'll be Shirashirim. Apostle called Doidi Einsho, the Indian Medalig of the Kapet Schulu. The Hainu Haoras Shochas Haoras Am Eitzel Baruchu. Shenimshach Va'atzilus. That is when it comes down in Atzilus. Yes, sir. So that has to be a jump. Yes, because it's even a greater gap between higher than Atzilus and Atzilus than Atzilus to Biyah. When this ray is revealed, so that is so powerful of Atzilus. I must cause the masculine. Vaso merivos, gabe oisu berevava shaloi. By mezer cheligimul hazina reish pei vav beis kitapuach kachulu oisu v'chol cheligulei. Im kol zeh ksiv kein doidi bein habonim. So doidi bein habonim. Shetzorich li mitchila. First, you need Bonaich Limud Hashem. You need the level of Bina, then the level of Chochmah. The Yisrael Doidi to get from the level of higher than Tziluk. Okay, I'm not going to say that this was easy.